It's time for Conversation Corner. Hit it.
Conversation Corner is the place to go. Information, entertainment from the folks you know. The old coyote is howling. Let's get on with the show.
Welcome to Conversation Corner, brought to us by Lucille's Roadhouse. This Friday is Valentine's Day. You got to go out to eat. It's a Friday night. We've got a great deal going on with Lucille's. You can buy the 2 ASAP refill mugs, the free refill mugs that are $79.99. And that's free refills for the rest of the year at all the ASAP stores and even Lucille's Roadhouse. You can buy 2 of those, and you get that Valentine's meal for free. And so that's a value of $59.99 for free. And they have the same deal for if you buy 1 refill mug and you want a Valentine's meal, if it's Singles Awareness Day or Galentine's or whatever.
That's right.
Whatever you want to call it. So check that out at Lucille's Roadhouse, sponsoring Conversation Corner. In the studio with us, we have Russ Meacham. Hello, sir.
Good morning.
Who did you bring with you?
Jason Giblet's along with me this morning.
All right. I knew you looked familiar. I've seen your face all over the place. Hello, Jason Giblet.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good.
What's up, guys? How's everybody doing this morning?
Oh, it's a nice chilly morning outside.
Yeah,
a little cool weather, and watch out for that north wind blowing in.
You guys got to experience that firsthand as you waited outside because Vanessa locked you out for the first 30 minutes.
Vanessa, I didn't think Vanessa wanted us in here today. I was almost going to be appalled.
I was like, oh, here they come. Lock.
Lock it up. Oh, man. But at least you guys made it. Doors unlocked. That's always a win for us. And how's the coffee? She didn't make coffee either.
I know.
Well, it must be Monday morning.
Wow.
Bright and early, get the week started. It's time to get out there and do it again.
I was off my game.
What do you do when you come to work, Vanessa? You're supposed to lock the doors, make coffee, your only jobs.
It really is. That's the 2 things that I could do right, at least, right? Well, what are we going to be talking about this morning?
I think this morning we were going to talk about the bond election that's coming up tomorrow morning, or starts tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
in
7
Clinton.
a.m., right?
Yeah, we'll get bright and early. Kind of like getting up early with the radio station.
Yes, yes.
Well, we'll talk all about that in just a moment on Conversation Corner, brought to us by Lucille's Roadhouse on the Coyote.
The new Van and John Show is brought to you by True Vision.
Cummins Auto Group and 95.5 The Coyote present Hydro Eakley Playoff Basketball. The Coyote is covering the Bobcats and Lady Bobcats all the way to state. It all gets started with the district championship this Saturday night. Girls tip off at 6:30 and the boys tip off at 8.
Kate Berkey off of the screen. Deep 3 for the lead. Bam! Kate Berkey from 25! Are you kidding me? Parker sets the feet. 3 ball in the air. Bam! Gabby Parker for 3. Accelerates head of the key. Reese Berkey up top. Deep 3 on the way. Buried it.
Hydro Eakley Basketball is made possible by McDonald's, ASAP and Lucille's Roadhouse, Bank of Hydro Eakley and Weatherford, Ints Auction and Realty, First Summit Bank of Weatherford, CK Energy Electric Cooperative, Farm Credit of Western Oklahoma, Piercy Angus Cattle, Central Custom Ag in Eakley, Extreme Services, Long & Associates, Deer Creek Market, CJ's Southwest Tire, and Deer Creek Hardware. Join us this Saturday night for Hydro Eakley Playoff Basketball on 95.5 The Coyote.
Sam Elliott here from Moxie Realty, and with a short English lesson. Moxie, a noun, derived from North America. Moxie, energy, pep, courage, determination, know-how. Used in a sentence, when you've got Moxie, you need a house to match. That concludes the English lesson for the day.
Moxie makes it happen. Find us online at moxierealty.com when you're ready to buy or sell your home. When you've got Moxie, you need the house to match.
Attention breakfast lovers! Stop in at Lucille's Roadhouse off Airport Road in Weatherford, where you can enjoy all-you-can-eat breakfast Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. The coffee is always freshly ground and ready to serve. While you're there, make sure to check out the great made-in-Oklahoma products available in the gift shop. Lucille's Roadhouse, just off Airport Road in Weatherford, where you can enjoy all-you-can-eat breakfast Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. That's Lucille's Roadhouse.
Roger, Houston, Apollo 10, you can tell the world that we have arrived.
1969. Apollo 10 launched on May 26th.
The view is really out of this world.
Tom Stafford and crew had made it to the moon. This is just one of many adventures to relive at one of Oklahoma's must-see attractions, the Stafford Air and Space Museum. Open daily Monday through Sunday. See the Apollo spacecraft, the moon rock, the ICBM missile, and more. One of Oklahoma's must-see attractions, the Tom Stafford Air and Space Museum in Weatherford.
Chief Paul Wrinkle speaking.
This is District Attorney Angela Marcy. A silver alert has been issued for Maxine, and she's headed west on I-40 towards Clinton.
Should I approach the vehicle with caution?
No, she's harmless.
Ma'am, could I see your license and insurance information, please?
Is there going to be a strip search?
Oh, no, ma'am.
Well, are you going to frisk me or pat me down or anything like that?
Absolutely not, ma'am. That is not necessary.
Well, then I'm not hanging around.
Excuse me, do you really know how fast you were going?
Officer, I received a call from the IRS. They're going to put me in jail. I'm headed to the Custer County Courthouse right now to see if there's anyone over there that can help me.
The IRS will never contact you by phone. That is a scam.
Well, what about all those calls I get wanting information about my Social Security?
Also a scam. Social Security will never contact you by phone. You need to calm down and be aware of scam calls. If you suspect a scam call, hang up and call your local police department.
Sponsored by Wright Broadcasting Systems.
Conversation Corner brought to us by Lou Sills Roadhouse. It's 8:23 and big day for the town of Clinton, working on a whole new, working on the improving the schools, improving the community as well. And to talk about that, we've got Jason Giblett and also Russ Meacham in the studio. Seen a little bit about this on Facebook and such, and
a little bit. Sure, you better been listening to the news. We've been talking about it for like 6 months.
And yes, hearing about it in the news as well. Got a lot of advocates for this too. Why is that? Why do you have so much support?
Well, there's a bunch of advocates on one side that are supporting the school side of it. There's another group, that kind of we're out there talking about that, wanting to get the message out there that voting no is not necessarily voting bad against Clinton and bad against the school system. I think the one thing that everybody needs to realize is whenever they get out to vote that, a yes or a no vote is telling us what is really best for the community.
Right.
And at this point, we want to look at maybe pushing what is best for the community. Students are always first. And at the end of the day, we always want to take care of the students. But are we putting forth the right project, and are we doing what really needs to be done in this bond issue? And that's really what the question is for tomorrow.
I got you. Yeah. And so you're just all about getting people to get out and vote.
Get out and vote. Get out and vote, and put your piece forward.
Makes sense.
Whenever we talk about it, we've kind of come from the point saying that this might not be the right time or the right project for the citizens to vote on.
Right.
And whenever we look at it from that standpoint, what do we need to do, and how can we make Clinton the best that it can be, taking care of the students and taking care of the community all in one big package.
What I guess what are we thinking? What's wrong with this one, or why is it time just because the city of Clinton's not doing very well, or is it the time because it's not the right, you were looking for new buildings, not just remodeling? Or
Exactly. I think you kind of break it down into two pieces. Number one, it's not the right time,
Right.
and then number two, may not be the right project whenever you sit down and look at it.
why is it not the right project? I guess my question.
Well, let's start with why it's not the right time,
Okay.
because I think that's really the bigger point of what's out there. Number one, Clinton's bringing in a new superintendent. From the very top, if you want to look at something and you want to take a step back and look at it, whenever you're bringing in a new superintendent, do you want to strap that new superintendent to the next 15 years, which practically will be his entire career of administration? Do you want to strap him with the game plan that was put in place by the prior administration?
Right.
So I think that's number one on the list. You take number two in this policy, and what we want to make sure the citizens understand is in 2010 we issued a bond. It's $17 million, and we still owe $5.1 million on that 2010 bond.
Oh.
That $5.1 million is set to pay off over the next period of time, up to 5 years. We have to pay that bond off.
Right.
And whenever you go to pay that bond off, we can pay it off in 3 years, and it'll cost us about 36 mils in property tax. If we pay it off in 4 years, it'll cost about 25 mils. Or if we pay it off in 5 years, where the original game plan was and how it was originally designed, that'll pay off at about 19.5 mils.
Wow, that's a lot. I mean,
Well,
you know what I mean? The fact for what it actually owe compared to what you actually pay off, right? But that's just like buying a house.
It's just like buying a house, and that's it. Whenever you pay interest up front and whenever you finance things long term,
Right.
those dollars keep on adding up. So, and that kind of runs into the next piece. So if you still owe $5.1 million on this bond issue, and you're going to turn around and effectively borrow another $22 million cash
Right.
right now, school district's now $27 million in debt. And are we at the point from a facility standpoint, or are we at that point from an operational standpoint that we really need to go out and indebted ourselves at $27 million?
No, yeah, no, I think it's tough for any company to want to do that. Any business decision that would be tough unless you felt like it was the right things. And I guess you're currently also feel like it's really not the right things to be doing either.
Well, whenever you sit back and you listen to the administration and you listen to the fact, I mean, we have to give them a pat on the back. I mean, the principals at those school sites, the things that they've done, they've taken care of their facilities. They've put them in the best place possible. They utilized that money that we generated back in 2010, and they've put it to work. They've done the right things. They've got our schools in operational shape where we don't have to worry about is this door broken down or can we not close that window? That's not what our issues are right now.
Right.
I think we're at the point, and I think the game plan really that was created 9 years ago or 10 years ago, whenever we put forth that original plan, was to get us in a foothold and to get us to a point that we could go out and really do something big the next time bond issues came around. At that point, that game plan kind of pushed maybe 12 years, 13, 14 years down the road. We should have been looking at 23, 20, 24 for doing that. But at this point, finding the time to do it and finding the right thing to do is really what's the most important.
Sorry,
All right.
my battery's dying over here. I'm having to do surgery.
Somebody's saying that they can't hear us on the Facebook video too, I think. And we have Russ Meacham and also Jason Giblett with us. Jason, just listening to this conversation, what are some things you'd like to add to it?
Well, I think if we, in looking forward into the future of Clinton, do we really want to spend this kind of money on rehabilitating old facilities, or do we want to start directing capital toward new facilities? I think we're at a crux. So we've got to. I feel like we've got to start directing those funds towards new projects, if that's what we want to do. If we start rehabilitating old facilities, then we're very likely going to be stuck in that position for a very long time.
So for people that don't know much about it, I know it's crazy to say they may not know much about it, and they're going to be voting tomorrow. What is being proposed? What's the plan? I mean, I'm hearing something about it's to update the school instead of getting a new school or whatever. What's the pros and cons of this? I know you kind of shared the cons of it, but there's surely some pros, right?
The current plan is a $29 million bond issue. It will generate approximately $22 million spendable cash day one. It does some rehabilitation and builds facilities and classrooms, does remodeling at effectively the 3 grade school sites. The attempt on it is then to consolidate the junior high into a single into one of the campuses. So instead of having 5 campuses at Clinton, we'll have 4 campuses at Clinton.
Yeah.
And then what about? I know they mentioned the proponents or the people that are for it, I guess, is the storm shelter part of it too, right? It would guarantee a storm shelter at every facility.
It would update the storm shelters. Currently every facility has a storm shelter in it. But it would put something else out there that is there. Storm shelters are very common in additions now. Whenever schools are going out and building things, go look at all of them. Every time they're building a new school now, they're putting storm shelters in those schools because again, we always want safety for the kids. Safety first. But to me, to go out and spend $29 million right now to put storm shelters at school sites, that's a pretty expensive storm shelter if that's the only thing that we're really doing this for.
Is it kind of split down the middle, or have you seen more support or less support of this? Or do they feel like you do? Or?
Here's the funny part. I mean, in small town politics, I think the bigger the politics are in the world, the more people are really willing to talk about. On a national level, hey, we can sit down and have conversations. But whenever you start getting down to local politics, man, it gets to be a very tight-knit piece. You don't want to offend your friends. You don't want things out there that are going to hurt somebody else. And so really, for the most part, people are finding it a whole lot easier to stay silent than it is to come out and say something.
Well, and this is kids. People are super passionate when you're talking about kids, and like you said, talking about their safety or just the look of the place. It already looks pretty amazing anyway. Some of the improvements that have happened, and there's been a lot of positivity, positive comments out of that. So I can see them wanting to do more.
Yeah. Well, and that's it, and that's honestly why saying no is a very tough piece, because you feel like you're saying no to the kids, and that's one thing that I think I want to stress, and make sure is really a common point out there. This is not saying no to the kids. This is saying no to the project that's put out there. I think what I will tell you is there's a bigger and a better plan that needs to be put out there. We need to be looking at doing something bigger. We need to be looking at a new campus. We need to be dreaming bigger than what we're currently dreaming. Too often, whenever you put a limitation on the people, whenever you put a limitation on your citizens or on those around you, you limit what their total possibilities are. Whenever we don't dream big enough and whenever we don't look at what the overall possibilities are, then we're just short-sighted. I mean, if we're myopic and in our myopathy, we are only looking at this is a yes or a no vote because of kids, then we've missed the whole point. This is not a yes or a no vote because of kids. This is a yes or no vote because are we doing the best for our kids that we can do?
Right. No, I mean, I'm with you on that. And I said that kind of at the beginning, as I thought it was weird that they're going for the remodel and not go ahead. Because they've had several campuses there. I can't tell you the years they were built, but they've been there for a long time. For the same reason, we just kind of went through the same thing in Weatherford, where it was a question of these schools have been here for a really long time, and one of them is almost unsafe and had to do this. And we just really need to build the best, to get your kids the best facilities. It's time to build some new facilities. And this isn't that at all. This is just kind of putting a Band-Aid or duct tape on a leak, I guess.
And that's kind of how we feel about it. Right. And the position I'm coming from. Funny thing that you mentioned, my great granddad was on the school board when that school was built.
Wow.
If you want to go back to one of our campuses, my great granddad was on the school board whenever that came about. And that's many years ago.
So you're wanting something more than this.
I think whenever so that was to my second point, whenever we talked about, it's not the right project. It's not the right piece of what it is. And whenever you say it's not the right project, you have to kind of take a step back. Don't look at it from the ground level. Take a 30,000 foot view of what we're really talking about, and step back and look at what we're doing. Whenever you take that step back, you realize that these dollars being spent in Clinton are not just dollars about the school. These are also dollars that impact the community, and they impact what you see and what goes on. I say it from this standpoint. Clinton right now, from a city standpoint, does not have any more bonding capacity for capital projects. Because of the water situation, and everybody knows the drought that we went through and the changes that were made, Clinton has committed all of its capital funds for the next 25 years, effectively, to go off and pay that $30 million water project.
Right.
Now, it's one thing. A community is not a community if you can't turn the water faucet on and have water.
That's
so
true.
there is absolutely no complaint on that. We had to do what we had to do to get water. But now we're looking at $30 million that's related to the school, and we're looking at $30 million of how can that impact the students. Students have to be number one, but if the community can benefit from that impact, then I think that's important.
Now, one of the things that you were pointing out is that you're going to be getting a new superintendent that didn't help plan this. But that is something that Corn Bible Academy has. They're having two now. The one guy just left, but then not just, but they have a new one, and I think it was kind of an incentive for him. He was actually that looked more appealing to him that they were. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's a little different when you're fundraising, trying to commit to building something as opposed to passing a bond, which the your citizens are already paying for and you're locked into.
Yeah,
I guess.
But I mean, like if it happened and he was coming in, it'd be like, oh, well, and they're working on you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it is brand new for Corn Bible Academy.
There is a plus and a minus there, and I will say that whenever a no vote, and a lot of the time the big opposition to the no side right now is it just looks bad on the community.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to say no to kids or no to progress and those kind of things. I think what this is really about is saying no to the project that we're doing and the time that we're doing it.
Yeah.
Because we want to get the most. If we have $22 million cash to go spend tomorrow, I want to get the most out of that $22 million. If we go out and borrow the money right now and we start on that project, out of that $22 million cash, we're going to have to pay about $600,000 a year just in interest cost for at least the next 4 or 5 years. That's $2.5 million of money that we could have been investing in capital assets that we're going to have to be paying interest on because we still owe this $5.1 million.
Right.
So, whenever you sit down and say, can we stretch this dollar as far as this dollar can go? Right now is not the time to do it because you're not getting the biggest bang for that buck. Capitalized interest is out there, and is it going to help us? Maybe, maybe not. But I would much rather spend that $2.5 million on real things than I would spend it just on interest to the bondholders.
Now, what would have changed your mind if let's say that wasn't there, that previous debt? Then would you be a little more acceptable, or is it the big sticking point? It's also the remodel.
Well, it's also the remodel. So the remodel piece, whenever you talk about the community investment and whenever you talk about what it really looks like on the outside, because it is about also, if classrooms are classrooms and we're going to build the same classrooms no matter what, now let's look at what the integration is with the community and how that makes the community stand up as far as comparative to the other communities around. I use this example. All of us drive south on I-35 headed to Dallas, and as you head south on I-35, get into Texas and you come across Gainesville. When you see Gainesville, what's the one thing outside of shopping that you really think about? Once you get to the south side of town, you see that brand new high school setting up on the side of the hill, and you see a brand new campus and dedicated to the kids. Now, just out of that perception, what do you think about the community in general?
It's got to be nice.
It's got to be
valuable.
Right. They've got priorities, don't they?
Yeah.
So visibility in these projects really becomes a big piece in what I think is important whenever we talk about spending the money and we talk about the community involvement. Because if you're doing something like that, now you've got a better piece. Drive down I-40 and head as you head east to the lakes on the east side of the state. What do you find over there? Well, you get to Okemah, man. Okemah, one of the poorest communities, one of the poorest counties in the entire state, just got a brand new hospital sitting on the side of the road. What do you think about Okemah whenever I tell you that? They've got some dedication to their citizens. They've got a dedication to a core that's going on. Get on over to Shakota as you continue down I-40.
Carrie Underwood.
There you go. right there on I-40. Brand new facilities that they're building, putting out there on the kids. Again, what is your mindset of it whenever you drive by those communities and whenever you see what's going on?
I'm with you. I think the whole concept of when you build the fact that Weatherford currently is building two new schools means no matter what I do, even though Jason knows, I've told him off there, I'm the worst financial person ever, but my property value is going up way more than it would be if they were just redoing the basement or just redoing several different classrooms so there's that battle. I mean, there's the perception of property value is all perception, right? It's and if you have new schools and you put it when you're selling your house, you put Weatherford School District and new elementary school built in 2021 and it helps. So I'd assume the same thing with Clinton. If when you put they just passed a $19 million bond project where they remodeled 160 classrooms, the property value isn't going to see nearly as much of a jump, I guess, as it would.
Well, Jason, any thoughts that you wanted to share before we let the two of you go?
Get out and vote your heart, vote for Clinton. And I would really like to see us be progressively forward thinking for our economy, for our citizens and our students.
Well, no matter what happens, I hope that you guys are able to let that go at the end, you know what I mean, and be friends with it sounds like it's divided a lot of folks up, which small town politics, that happens.
Here's the deal. Tomorrow we all wake up as Clinton citizens, and tomorrow, no matter what the answer is, it's how the public voted. And tomorrow we all get up and we get along and we all move forward doing what is best for Clinton. And we're going to take another step, and we're going to do what's best for Clinton at that point.
And we just have to support that issue, whatever
happens,
however the vote comes out.
I agree.
We've got to unify and be a cohesive force.
Good point to make, definitely. All right, well, so voting tomorrow, 7 to 7. I appreciate you, the two of you coming in, Russ Meacham and also Jason Giblett.
Thank you, guys.
Conversation Corner is brought to us by Lucille's Roadhouse on the Coyote for Valentine's.
The Coyote reminds you, if you're a contractor, farmer, or rancher, DJ's Rental and Sale